Two things nobody wants to admit out loud. One, that the number you're chasing might be the thing lying to you. Two, that a man could lose himself without anyone throwing a punch. This isn't therapy. It's a reckoning. For the men who've been lied to about love, and the women who sold safety instead of truth. We say the things you're not supposed to say out loud. I'm Author. This is Cuff. Every week, we go deeper. We cut our own email list in half this year. Actually, last week. On purpose. Not because they left, because we removed them. We thought it would feel like a loss. It felt like quiet. That's musing 121. Then there's the other kind of number. The one no man agreed to be graded on. Strength, capacity. The body doing what it's always done, until it doesn't. Nobody warned you about 40. Not about this. That's musing 122. Different currency, same debt, 2 musings, 20 minutes. Let's get into it. So, we're going to start off with musing 121. Link in the show notes. Go down there. Go ahead and read it. And this has to do with me cutting our Substack email list in half. Now, you might think I'm crazy. I might felt crazy for a moment. But here's the thing. Does the number stay the inflated number because of my ego? Or do we get honest? We cut the number so that we have cleaner data. And I chose cleaner data. There's also something that happens under the hood that isn't good. And I just want to touch on that, which is the more of these emails that get sent to people who don't open them, the more email providers think what we're sending is spam. And that hurts the people who actually open the emails. Because then some of your email providers or email apps might start putting our emails in spam. And so I deliberately chose to cut the number, but here's the bigger reason why. I talk a lot about clarity, being self-honest, intellectual honesty, etc. Who would I be if I did not practice what I preach, notice the patterns that are happening, and adjust to what is the actual clarity of the situation? And that sealed it. There was no way that I am comfortable being publicly hypocritical. And you know what? It was a good exercise for my ego. But the thing I kept telling myself is these are ghosts. These are people who subscribed once, haven't opened an email or engaged with content on the site in months. So why does cutting that number hurt so much? When I wrote about it, I drew a parallel to amputating your own finger with a butter knife. Dull, deliberate, painful, but necessary, right? And the thing I keep coming back to is pruning, right? It's, again, we've been talking about this on the last couple of podcasts, it seems like, but addition by subtraction. Cutting away the noise to strengthen the core, to show you what's truly important. like a lot of things in life, the things that are truly important to us can become obfuscated by noise. And it's easy to get lost in all of the noise. And that's why Earned, the book, is so big on stripping away noise, stripping away unnecessary distractions, whatever you want to call them, things that are derailing you from peace, happiness, your goals, whatever it might be. That's all noise. And what happened is, after I cut the number, I had this sense of calm come over me. And I became very proud of myself for following through, sticking to what's important, demonstrating and living the cuffed principles, the Burn doctrine, not only out loud, but very publicly. And that's why I took it a step further and even wrote a Substack post about how stripping away this number bodily hurt at first, but then brought a deep sense of calm, clarity, etc. And we all know clarity at first is not easy to accept, even painful in some instances. But the great thing about clarity is once you see, you can unsee. You can lie to yourself, but you still know it's a lie because you saw what is real. More importantly, performing these exercises, not only in public, but in private, very privately, or very publicly, sorry, and disadvantage of stream of consciousness, one take podcast, you get the errors and all. Anyway, to do this, not only privately, but very publicly, and to draw attention to it so that the accountability is there, is repetitions. We talk a lot about this in Earned. It's the reps. It's putting in the work day after day, hour after hour, week after week, month after month, because then the more automatic it becomes, the harder it is to undo it. And yes, in these types of instances, they sometimes require a tremendous amount of will, energy, etc. to get the ball moving. Because it feels very foreign and very painful. But I will tell you what, the more and more I do this, the more it's becoming second nature, and the better I feel. Because I'm done negotiating with it. I'm not to that point fully, but I'm moving that way where I don't negotiate with it anymore. And what this ended up looking like was, well, this is something that we should do. It became, this is something that we do. We don't lie to ourselves. We don't live in obfuscation. We live in growth and clarity. And this is what people like us do, who live and breathe our principles in the Earned doctrine. So that's Musing 121. Again, go down the show notes, head over there, read it, tell me what you think about it. Musing 122. I wanted to leave a little extra time because this has been a very, very difficult subject for me. I would really say over the past year. In the past year, this is one of the first times in my life that I'm starting to actually notice my age, being in my 40s. In your 30s, it seems like it starts with decreased capacity for recovery. You can't go out all night and party and then get up the next day and just take on the world like you could in your 20s. In your 30s, it's like you waste half a day hydrating and snapping your way out of it until you're up and about and back on track. Well, that doesn't happen in your 40s, or at least not for me. Now, I hardly even consume any alcoholic beverages because I don't want to feel terrible for a day. Because honestly, that's what it's coming down to. Is like a hangover costs me the whole day. And I'm not wasting my time like that. So, I have been feeling decreased recovery capacity, and even I'm noticing my strength isn't what it was. Just, yeah, it is what it is, right? But let's focus on where this made me go. And the thing that I realized that I had never ever thought about before, because I hadn't been in this position, and quite honestly, men don't talk about this at all. We might joke that we have a bum knee or we hurt something, but we're not going to admit to another man that we feel physically less strong, less virile. And so no men talk about what we're about to talk about. And that's what happens to your identity as a man when the inevitable physical decline begins. In terms of endurance, strength. I'm not talking about general health. I'm talking about physical capacity. Nobody talks about it. And the more I started to think about it, the more I started to realize that men have been graded on a survival-coded scale pretty much since, I don't know I don't want to say if it's like pre-puberty, but definitely once you hit puberty, then it becomes how strong you are, how fast you are, how big of a hit you could take. You can keep standing and pushing through. And a large part of male worth becomes tied up in that. And we never signed up for it. Similar to the way that women haven't signed up for the way that their physical attributes are graded by everyone, men, women, etc. Same for men. Just the different currency, but same Bennett. And the more I think about it, the more it bothers me, because neither men nor women ever signed up to be graded on beauty, again, strength, whatever, any of the physical attributes that you can attribute to either sex. And yes, that's unfair that we didn't sign up for it. But nevertheless, we play the game. And when you're young, you never think about it. It's just part of life. And when you're young and you have it, it's not really something that bothers you, because in a lot of situations it might benefit you. But then when you start to age, and naturally some of that physical beauty, strength, endurance, whatever it might be, declines, that's when you start to notice what you didn't sign up for. And it's changed for men. I think for women, the physical scale has stayed relatively the same. Beauty, etc. For men, it used to be how effective a hunter you were, how much you could carry, how far you could carry it. Very survival coded, right? That hasn't changed a whole lot. It's just wearing a different disguise now. Now it's the hustle culture with a laptop and coding or building or creating non-stop, running on 4 hours of sleep. It's the same thing. It's just, again, wearing a different costume. But then through all of it, and that's the beauty of working through this and autopsying my behavior through this, I realized that I had become significantly wiser in a couple of areas. It had made me feel tremendously better about the whole situation. And it's, one, I've got wise enough to know where to spend my energy. When I was young, I felt like I had an infinite amount of energy and time. And so I would just grind away endlessly at anything and everything. Now, I am much more strategic about where I put my time because I've seen things, I've done a lot of things that haven't worked, I've done some things that have worked, and I'm only putting my time where it's going to be the most effective. That's the first thing. The second thing, how I view and treat rest, which goes hand in hand with number one, being strategic about your time. Before, I would look down on taking a break, take a nap, whatever it might be, and I would grind through it because you're young and you're dumb, and that's what you do. And then when you get older, you start to realize, and I do this all the time, I say, if I take a half-hour nap before I start the second half of my day, I'm going to be tremendously more productive, efficient. Therefore, I take the nap and I'm going to think about it. Young me would have ground through, done crappy work, essentially spun my tires in the mud for an extra half hour. And then, you know what? The 4 hours after that would be mediocre work that I would accomplish in that 4 hours. So now I get 4.5 hours of mediocre stuff. Or I can take a nap and I can put in 4 hours of tremendous work. Even when I'm talking about this right now, I can't believe I didn't see this earlier, how stupid I was being. Because just talking through it right now, recording this podcast, I'm like, that is such a smarter way to do things. Why didn't I always do that? That's not how life works. A lot of times, especially for men, especially for me, I've had to learn a lot of things the hard way. But better off for it. I've tried to take every up and down, especially the downs, as a learning lesson. As long as I learn from it, it's not a mistake. It's a learning lesson. The harder part is learning from when things are going well and really autopsying strengths, etc. Anyway, that's the episode for this week. Hold the standard. Stay close.